Hi, I'm Ruth. I'm Director of Renew Wellbeing. It's so great to be working with Renewal. Not only do we share a bit of a name with this renewing word, but I'm really keen on the practice of retreat. For me, with my mental health journey, which has been not so great over the years, I suffered from a great big burnout a number of years ago. This idea of having habits for my well-being wasn't something that I'd practiced at all. Busyness was next to godliness, just get on with it. And so things like the very familiar verse, I'll just bring it to you now in Isaiah 40, at the end of Isaiah 40, those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. I can remember reading that verse over and over when I was unable to get out of bed. I couldn't talk. I had no energy, couldn't do my life. And thinking, what does that mean to wait on the Lord? When you look this up in the Hebrew, there are lots of different words for wait, but this particular one is the word kavar, and it's an active waiting. This is not sitting around passively saying, well, you'll just have to wait for the Lord. He's coming along in a minute. No, this is actively waiting, like a spider making a web. That's kavar is also used of that. A spider making a web is saying, I'm waiting for some food, but whilst I wait, I shall make these gossamer threads tight enough to capture that goodness when it comes along. There's something in the word kavar about a sort of tension, a twisting together. I think there's something in that for us, certainly there was for me, about the habits in our lives that enable us to catch the goodness of God. How do we actively wait for him? Rather than just saying, oh Lord, I need you and I've got no energy, and like I often do, what does it look like to actively join in with waiting for the Lord who promises to be with us? So a couple of the habits that came to me as I wasn't well, there were things that I had learned from retreat houses. So a rhythm of prayer of the day, having a psalm in the morning, the Lord's Prayer at lunchtime, examine at the end of the day as I try to go to sleep, just going over the day with God, thanking him for love and beauty, letting go of what was not lovely and beautiful, taking one thing I've learned into the next day. A beautiful habit that I picked up from Joyce Rupp in that lovely book, The Cup of Our Life, was about having my first cup of tea in the morning, just holding it, knowing I am held like my life, like that cup held within God's hands. Maybe having some sort of object that you use when you pray that helps you to really ground the fact that he is with you. And for me, a cup, empty or full, it's lovely to know that I'm always held within the shalom, within the well-being of God. Well-being is not being well, it's being held by him. So every morning I sit still until that cup is empty. And in the waiting, in the sitting still, there's a sort of act of warfare for me. I remember the year when I wasn't well and I heard God say to me during that year, Ruth, I couldn't love you anymore. I'll never love you any less. And I was doing nothing. He loves us so very much. And in our much doing and our much running around, have we paused enough to listen to the voice of the one who says, wait on the Lord, renew your strength? So the practice of sitting with a cup and meditating on a little bit of the Psalms, love the Psalms, they're rooms for your soul to wander in, but maybe meditating on a small bit that your mind can dwell on. I sometimes refer to this as dwell-being, dwelling in him dwelling in you. Let the word dwell in you richly. And there's other habits then as well as the rhythm of prayer and the meditations in the morning. I think it's helpful to have a community with whom you share those practices that help you to stick to them. We have Renew spaces, wellbeing spaces, whereby churches can host places where people can bring a hobby, share a hobby, and then join in with these rhythms and habits of prayer. I think there's another habit for our waiting is that we actually need each other to help to make this web of well-being. So kavar, those who wait on the Lord, renewing their strength. We use at the beginning of the day the first few verses of Psalm 103. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Pause. Bless his name. Think of his name. Think of his character. Thank him. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Forget not all his benefits. Thank him for the blessings. Thank him for the benefits. He forgives all our sins. Receive his forgiveness again today. He heals all our diseases. eventually. So invite that drip feed healing each day over yourself, over your friends. He redeems our lives from the pit for any dark and hopeless situation, any place in the world. He is the Redeemer. Give them to him. And then we use this coming into land verse. He crowns us with love and compassion. Know that you are crowned, you are cloaked with his compassion. That is your identity. Wait till you hear him say, I could not love you any more. I'll never love you any less. Wait for the Lord. Renew your strength.